Recording started, sir.
Recording started, the sound. Yeah, the red button is on, right? Greetings and good evening to one and all. On behalf of the organizing units, IEEE Computer Society, ACM, Computer Society of India, and IEEE Life Member Affinity Group, I have great pleasure in extending a warm welcome to our today's speaker, Dr. Paramasivam. Members and my colleagues from the organizing units and other esteemed participants joined the meeting through Google Meet, and those watching the presentation through YouTube streaming. Today's presentation on Indian knowledge systems aims to offer a unique journey into India's historical wisdom, revealing how our ancestors harnessed their unparalleled knowledge to comprehend nature and guide their lives. In the relentless march of technology and westernization, these profound insights have often faded into the background. Yet, India has produced numerous unsung heroes who made substantial contributions to science and technology, their achievements often overlooked. Today, as the world turns to India for its information technology prowess, a resurgence of interest in Indian culture and its multifaceted aspects is evident. The resurgence has prompted a reevaluation of Indian culture and tradition, leading technologies to explore ancient scriptures for technological solutions. The presentation will draw inspiration from a wealth of perspectives, including those of various think tanks and the speaker's own insights passed down through generations. It will provide a window into how Indian cultures and traditions were purposefully crafted and implemented over centuries. Key areas of focus within the presentation will encompass Indian knowledge system in medicine, language, mathematics, and information technology. It will delve into the intrinsic purpose and necessity underpinning these traditions, spotlighting their enduring relevance in our rapidly evolving the world system. In a concise narrative, this presentation aims to reignite appreciation of India's rich heritage of knowledge, revealing its timeless value in both technological and cultural realms. Having briefed you on the presentation, now it is my pleasure to introduce the speaker. Dr. Paramasivam is an accomplished educator and researcher. He is currently an associate professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at Sona College of Technology, Salem. Additionally, he serves as the Deputy Controller of Examinations. Further, he is an integral member of the Sona Signal and Image Processing Research Center. He has fostered international academic collaboration through his leadership as the head of international affairs at Sona College for over 5 years. Dr. Paramasivam holds a bachelor degree in electronics and communication engineering and master's degree in VLSI design, both from Sona College of Technology, Anna University, in 2005 and 2010 respectively. In 2010, he also earned MBA in Human Resource Management from IGNOU. In 2018, he had completed his PhD from Anna University, specializing in character recognition from Tamil palm leaf manuscripts using machine language, an intersection of technology and cultural preservation. He further expanded his academic repertoire with an MBA in Yoga and Human Excellence from Bharatiyar University in 2022. Throughout his academic and professional journey, Dr. Paramasivam has been a prolific researcher, published 26 papers in Scopus Index, 20 in World of Science Index, and 30 in UGC referred national and international journals and conferences. His expertise spans various domains, including image processing algorithms, deep learning, and management principles from ancient scriptures. Beyond academia, Dr. Paramasivan's global travels have enriched his understanding of diverse cultures and traditions. His dedication to excellence has earned him several prestigious awards, including the Best Men Academic Performer Award from IET UK in 2023. In a nutshell, Dr. Paramasivam is a multifaceted individual whose academic achievements, research contributions, and passion for cultural exploration make him a distinguished person in the academic and professional sphere. His dedication to preserving cultural heritage and advancing technology underscores his commitment to holistic growth and excellence. With this note of welcome, briefing to the subject of the presentation and the introduction to the speaker, let me hand over the floor to Dr. Paramasivam to enlighten us on Indian knowledge systems. Over to Dr. Paramasivam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me today. And it's really a pleasure and honor to be amongst eminent personalities and to deliver this session. So I will not waste my time, and let me directly go to the presentation. Probably, I think I'll be taking a bit more time also. So let me start up, and at the end, let us have some discussions. Probably some other listeners also can talk about it. So today's topic is on Indian knowledge system, because this terminology was coined by a group of researchers eventually, I think, in 2000. And I hope my screen is visible and I'm audible also.
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. As you see, there are three different words in this: Indian, knowledge, and systems. Because today, on a globalized perspective, and with the liberty towards democracy and text liberalization, that is what they call. Anybody can talk anything. The word Indian means that it must be from an Indian origin, or it must be from somebody from India. And the second word, knowledge, refers to all that has been spoke by most of the researchers in the past years. And why this word system came? If they would have stopped with Indian and knowledge, why did the word system come? System, because I will tell this reason why the system came in the last, because I have certain points put up over there. Of course, I think most of you would have seen this film, but few of them would have not seen. This is a very old film by name Maya Bajar. Even now it is available in YouTube. You can check it. Incidentally, it is available in Telugu, Tamil, I think even in Kannada, if I'm correct. The film was pictured in 1957 when there was no technology available, and I think most of us will remember the scene wherein Krishna presents lots of gifts to Parashurama and other people in the family, wherein he has a box. You open the box, it is a video chat. It is a video chat, and I will add one more degree to it, which still we are yet to get it. It's like perception. A human perception is immediately understood by the box, and the box will show whatever the human had perceived in that. So that is one more degree which we are yet to achieve. And today we talk about Skype calls, video calls, Zoom calls, Google Meet calls, and we are still talking about 5G, and research in 5G is still going. So this was my first inspiration to look behind as what and all technology was available in the ancient days. And the second inspiration was even today, I go to a remote village. I think this is applicable throughout India. We go to a remote village, we find a lot of aged people sitting in the cart. You go and ask them a direction. They'll say, go northward, just they see the sky and they say, go northwards about 2 furlong, 3 furlong. And immediately we will open our mobile phone with the GPS to find which is the north direction. But they will immediately say, why are you opening the phone? Go this way, that is the north. They did not have GPS. They did not have, probably they should have the knowledge of how the sun transits during the Uttarayana and the Dakshinayana. But even then, they were so accurate that this is the north. And this is one form of Indian knowledge system which we still need to taper and understand how they keep that in the mind. And when I did my graduation, this was my third inspiration. There was a quiz conducted by Chinmaya Mission. I think most of us know Chinmaya Mission. It was founded by Swami Chinmayanandaji. And they had a separate division called Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, which conducted a quiz. It was a Guinness record quiz wherein more than I think 2 lakh people attended the quiz. It was a physical quiz, of course. It was long back in 2002, if I'm correct. So we had to go to the venue, sit down and write. So what they did was they charged us some 50 rupees, if I'm correct, and they gave us this book. So we had to read this book and go and attend the quiz. The book, each page was a treasure. Each page was a treasure, and each page spoke about how Indians had contributed towards science, technology, what not, architecture, planning, and how Indians are right now also contributing to the technology and other factors. So this was one book. Of course, this is a preserved treasure in my library. I still have it there. Of course, the binding has gone away, but even then, I still use Fevicol, and I still have it safe with me because I did not get a revised version of this book. They told it's sold off. I don't have books, further books, so it's still a treasure. And I have a doubt or I have a clarification. I immediately refer this text and see if there is any reference for whatever science and technology we are speaking about. So personally speaking, I'm a student of electronics communication. I still learn a lot of electronics and communication engineering. That is my passion. And my particular interest was on digital image processing, as uh, Mohan sir introduced me, telling that my area of interest is image processing. So you take any student, any average student in an engineering college, and you say the word DSP, it is actually digital signal processing, but the student will say it is a degree topic paper because it involves a lot of mathematics, a lot of imagination, a lot of thinking, but my passion did not leave. I had an opportunity to read Dr. K.P. Soman, um, uh, book on digital signal and image processing, this pathway. I think it's still available nowadays in the market. The introduction page changed my mind, changed my perspective towards digital signal and image processing. So he mentioned about Kalidasa's Meghdoota. Kalidasa is an ancient Sanskrit poet. He has written a lot of poems, but his poem on Meghdoota was the one which inspired K.P. Soman, Dr. K.P. Soman, and in turn it inspired me also. It's a Sanskrit treatise. Treatise means it's a poem, a set of poems, wherein he gives message through the clouds. The name Meghdoota means Mega means the cloud, Duta means the messenger. So he has tried to say, of course, it's a poem of love. The uh, the writer is trying to send some message to his lover through the clouds. So this inspired me a lot, and that is what we are doing today. Today is cloud computing, working on the cloud, sending messages, emails. All this happens on the cloud computing and other things. So how much how much long visioned should the Sanskrit poet Kalidasa should have been to write this? To write this, I think I've added certain small text over here in the bottom. I think I'm answering to the question what Dr. S.S. Sani had posted during the registration. This is one major example wherein technology can always look back, particularly the information technology, can always look back to the ancient scripts and find out solutions. Let me move on to the next topic on mathematics. I think most of you would have not seen him. The moment you see him, immediately will say that he is a simple saint. Probably he must be Ramanuja, because today there is a lot of activity that is, I mean, on the social media, by the government, by a lot of mutts and monasteries, a lot of work that's done for Ramanuja and Adi Shankaracharya. Of course, they are saints, but they are equally people who have contributed to mathematics, technology, and other regions also. He is a 4th century saint by name Vedanta Desika, and he is a Vaishnava saint, and he had written a poem called Chatushloki. He has written a poem, sorry, 13th century. I mentioned it wrongly, 13th century. And he had written a poem on called as Chatushloki. And he has also written a poem on Patuka Sahasra. Patuka means the holy feet of the Lord or the Guru, whoever he has adorned, the holy feet of the Lord or the Guru. And he has written 1,000 poems. Sahasram means 1,000. Okay. And incidentally, when you look at the poem, you will not find anything so interesting. But when you actually try to uh, uh, write it on the um, chessboard, you will find a lot of interesting things. See, this is the poem. Let us not enter into the Sanskrit term and the corresponding translation, but let us enter at writing it in the chessboard. So the uh, first uh, term, that is Sira, is written here. Sira, and then Gasamam. So Gasamam. All these are written here. So this is the first poem that has been written over here. Okay, and then the next poem 929 is written here. 930 is formed by the Nike movement. Sita, you can see Sita, and then it is Sama. You can find it here. I'm just pointing it out because I'm not an expert of Sanskrit, but you can quickly go through it. You can find it here, right? And then it is again the night movement. It follows the night movement. So based on the night movement, he has written the poem, which is quite interesting to note that chess is a game of the Westerners, but interestingly, it was available in the 13th century also in some other form. Might be it would have been in some other form, which we need to explore. So this is one area. Of course, I had one of my friend who is an IT professional by name Pradeep, who actually gave me this insight on Paduka Sahasram, and we tried to work, but we did not get a lot more text. One other area wherein people have started exploring today, people are mad behind it, is like the Vedic mathematics. It was initially identified by Bharati Krishna Tirtha ji. He was the pontiff of the Govardhan Peeth in Odisha, and he started reciting certain texts in Sanskrit. And it is believed that there are 17 different sutras available on Vedic mathematics, and they form the base for other sub sutras and sub clauses for Vedic mathematics. And Bharati Krishna Tirtha, there was a lot of criticism on what Bharati Krishna Tirtha did, because they told that there is no reference for the text and other things. But let us not enter into that. But let us always look at the positive aspect of what Bharati Krishna Tirtha did. The main thing that he did was he gave us simpler mathematics. He gave us mathematics in such a way that you can solve problems very quickly. He gave us ways in which we can solve it very quickly. And incidentally, he traveled worldwide. He presented this to a lot of mathematics scholars. But uh, the major issue was he was a simple saint. And long back around 50 years ago, people did not appreciate his efforts. But today, people have started looking back at it. And this is one simple example of one sutra, which is the Nikilam Sutra. So you can find, if you read it, I think there are a lot of YouTube clips also available, like how to multiply 99 into 84. The condition is that this number must be close to a hundredth number. 99 is close to 100. Similarly, 199 into 84. So there are methods. I will not detail those methods because that will take a longer time. So these methods will simplify your calculation process. Incidentally, I took one of these methods, and way back in 2006, when I was working in the area of VLSI, I tried to implement one of these methods, and I found that the chip area required on an FPGA board for a regular multiplication is much less when compared to that what we implement using this method. And we published a paper also in 2006-7, and till today in my citation index, that is the most highly cited paper. What was most painful for me in that time was, it was the most I would say tedious work for me, because resources were crunched into about 20 years ago, 20 years ago. And when we published it to a journal, the journal did not accept it because the idea was somewhere, they told that it's a crooked idea. There's no proof for it. So, but later on, I understood, after we published it in a simple conference, I understood that there is a lot of wantedness for this even today. And that's why the citation has gone higher today. So the next topic that we will be touching up is the metallurgy in Indian knowledge system. I think most of us would have heard of the Qutub Minar, and there's one iron pillar which is situated close to the Qutub Minar. I personally visited it when I was in Delhi. I think most of you would have also visited it. And that was actually not the pillar of Delhi. That was a pillar made in somewhere in Orissa near the Konark temple. And it's almost the age of it starts from 4th century. It hasn't rusted till date. So a professor from IIT Kanpur, Dr. R. Balasubramaniam, he identified as how it would have been done. Because today we go to the iron merchant and ask for any product, the first thing is it is not rust proof. Of course, we apply a lot of oxides and other things. I'm not a specialist in that, but I'm just giving you an insight. So, and the other point that was most astonishing is that iron pillar that stands still today weighs more than 6 tons. And as I told you, it is not it was not done in Delhi, rather it was done in Odisha. How would have they transported it from Odisha to Delhi without any advanced equipment, any advanced transportation systems? Only that they have to depend was the horse and the elephant and human beings with a lot of stamina. So these are all areas wherein we can still explore and find out, and what actually would they would have done it, whether there are any texts available for it. And of course, there are a lot of inscriptions, as I have mentioned it over here. You can find that there are a lot of inscriptions on the iron pillar, which is still date available. If somebody goes and see, you can find a lot of inscriptions available. And they found that it is inscriptions which we need to understand, because they are not the normal inscriptions. And incidentally, the Ashoka pillar in Saranath, which is our national emblem, has a lot of inscriptions on Brahmi script. Brahmi is the major script from which all the scripts, it's believed, because I will not enter into debate, because There are a lot of debates going in and around. And Brahmi script is the script which is the base for most of the Indus scripts, including Tamil, including because from Brahmi we got Vattaluthu, then we got Tamil. Similarly, on the other side, we have the Indus script, Brahmi script, and then the Devanagari, and then the Sanskrit. Of course, Devanagari and Sanskrit are interrelated. The next topic that I would be touching is the astronomy. Astronomy, we are today pioneers in astronomy because we have landed in moon. We have also have one satellite revolving around the sun, and of course we are trying for Gaganyaan. We are all Indians are pioneers. But what most attracted me was the observatories which was built by Maharaja Jail Singh in 1725 in Ujjain. Of course, we have one observatory in Delhi also, and we have other observatories all over India. So my observation was something different. Point number one: Maharaja Jail Singh was an astronomer. Personally, he was an astronomer. He had a lot of idea about astronomy, and he sketched that all these astronomical data can be got from the space, and he has built this architecture. So he had double knowledge, both the idea on astronomy as well as the idea on architecture, planning, and civil engineering. So it's 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 like a person who has in Tamil we call it as Ashtavadani, a person who has at a time can listen to 8 people, answer to 8 people, but the knowledge of these people who have been so tremendous that they have proved it and still it is existing. Of course, the Sun Temple at Konark is one standing example. Till today, you go to the Sun Temple, the morning sunrise, the sun enters the temple and it falls on the deity. So, as I told you, it is a mixture of knowledge on astronomy, mathematics, civil engineering, and the most important factor is that they did not have any advanced tools that we are using today. Take the case of Konark Sun Temple. It's a stone structure which they would have built it with the chisels and hammers. No advanced bulldozers to pick up the stones. Nothing. So whatever the astronomer had perceived, it would be communicated to the mathematician. The mathematician draws the architecture. I mean, gives the way it should be done, and then the architect in turn gives the architecture. The architect, the architecture received by the person who works on the field or the site engineer understands it. I'm giving you the real time perspective. All the terminologies that we use today: site site engineer, architect, architectural drawing, mathematics, all these things are, but how did they do it? It's still a big, astonishing question mark, which we need to understand. Of course, phi was initially found by Westerners. That is how we all read in our mathematics. But Aryabhatta has the value of pi. He has given, I think, up to 11 digits, if I'm correct. And of course, Srinivasa Ramanujam worked still more. It was very difficult for Western scientists, Western mathematicians to understand what Ramanujam had written in his notebooks, in his copy notebooks, how he had done the calculation. It was very difficult. It was very difficult for them to understand. And I personally feel that that is why the government of India, when it first launched the satellite in the space, it named to honor Aryabhatta, and the satellite today is still on the space and it's called as Aryabhatta 1, Aryabhatta 2, and that is how we are all today enjoying the satellite television and all the dish TVs and other things. All is because of Aryabhatta. His contribution is enormous, and I have heard till date some of the space scientists sometimes refer to the text what Aryabhatta has given for any bottlenecks that they come through their day-to-day life at their research center. Moving on to the next one is the medicine. Of course, today we have a lot of Western medicine, allopathy, and we also have the Indian medicines like Ayurveda. The Tamil version of that is called as Siddha, and there are also other approaches, the homeopathy and other methods. And of course, we also have one other hidden treasure, which is the naturopathy. So, no medicine. You don't go for a medicine, but you look at the nature, and then the nature helps you. Like you go for raw vegetables, raw fruits as medicines, and as a result, you will be cured. I'm not going to touch all those things, but I'm just going to touch as how Shushruta performed his cataract and plastic surgery almost 2000 BCE. That is what is mentioned up in the scripts. So cataract today has become a common surgery, and imagine how he would have done without local anesthesia, without any advanced equipment, without any clean room that we talk today. Of course, he would have done it in a clean room, but not the way that we have it today. A doctor goes to an operation theater OT, he will have his hands cleaned, his face is clean, he covers his entire body, and the OT is ensured that it is a clean room. Nobody is allowed to enter. There is a double entry protection for the OT. But how did Shushruta do? And he has written all that he has performed as a text, and it is available today. And most of the Ayurvedic doctors still follow Shushruta, not the surgery part, but they follow the medicines that is prescribed by Shushruta and other Ayurvedic uh, Ayurvedic researchers who were available in those periods. I think this this slide is nothing but all that we have in our kitchen. And incidentally, this reminds me of the pandemic that was stuck. We had some, we live in a close community, and during pandemic, we found a lot of new inventions coming into picture. One fine day, I found a group of boys going in a Tata Ace. They spilled a lot of turmeric water in the street. I asked them, "What are you doing?" They told, "Turmeric is antiseptic. It's a good antiseptic." I said, "Oh, is it so? I never heard of it." I smiled at them and I told. And they also mixed neem leaves in that, and they started spilling it. They told this will wade away the pandemic, coronavirus. And interestingly, even today, you go to a remote village. I think this is applicable throughout India. You get hurt, the first thing that they do is they put turmeric at that point. Not the dried turmeric, but the actual turmeric which we get. So turmeric is a very good antiseptic, antiviral, whatever you call. Even today, you go to a Ayurvedic doctor, you say that you have a common cold, common flu. He will say, take some turmeric, take some milk, and also a few garlic, boil it properly, have it, your common cold will get cured up. And most of these items that you look over here is the items that you find in the kitchen, and we call it as in Tamil we call it as anjarepatti. Anjarepatti is the most essential spices that we add in our day-to-day life or day-to-day food. This is the coriander leaves. I mean the coriander seeds, which actually gives a good bowel movement, and it tries to solve the colon problems and other things. This is the elachi. I think this gives good flavor, but at the same time, it cools your stomach. I'm just giving. I'm not a practicing medical practitioner, but I'm just giving this small tip. This is the cumin seed, or we call it as in Tamil we call it as Tiragam. Tiragam. Tiragam means it makes your body perfect. And this is the cinnamon bark. And there's one study which was done by the Westerners, and they found that this lowers your blood pressure. This lowers your blood pressure. A nominal amount of cinnamon, this bark as a precaution will reduce your blood pressure. And this is, of course, your vendayam. That is what we call it in Tamil. Soaked in water overnight. That water you take it in the next day morning. There is a lot of good response for diabetes. So that is, of course, researchers are working, but as an immediate home remedy, I think these are all good options. Incidentally, I was just going through some of a series of lectures, and I found out that what Bhagavad Gita. I think this I should give credits to Dr. Venkatesh, a diabetologist. I think you will find him in the next slide. He has actually quoted this. So he has mentioned in one Krishna in one of the sloka mentions that you eat fresh ginger with rock salt powder before starting a meal. That will boost your digestion, clean your throat, clean your tongue. That is what we do. We have a cough, we tell inji tea, ginger tea. That will basically try to sort your throat problem. So, and one more thing is that today India has become a hub for diabetes, is what most of the medical practitioners use this term. And I would quote this from Dr. Venkatesh, who is an MBBS doctor and a practicing diabetologist. So one of the interviewers asked him, is there a solution for diabetes in Bhagavad Gita? He told, yes, there is a solution. Let me not touch the Sanskrit verse. I think Sanskrit experts can always try to articulate it. But let me touch the translation part, which is very easy for us. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, work, can mitigate all material pains by practicing. Yoga is a term which most of us get afraid. Yoga means, oh, that is very tough. You have to bend the body, bend this, that, this. Get up in the morning, close your eyes, do meditation. It's all very tough. But that is not the actual yoga. But what Krishna says is balanced eating, balanced sleeping, balanced recreation, and balanced work. Work here means not the work that we sit in front of the computer and type ASDF and semicolon LKJ the whole day. No, not that one. It means the physical work, physical activity. All these four in a balanced way will always keep you in a healthy way. And that is the Mula Mantra for your diabetes, as mentioned by the leading diabetologist. Today, we are reluctant towards fasting. Most of us do not fast. But John Hopkins University in Canada, if I'm correct, has done an extensive research on fasting. And they found that this intermittent fasting works good. I'll briefly tell you what is intermittent fasting. I think most of you know, but I'll just tell this for those who do not know. Let me start from the night. After 8 p.m., you're not supposed to take anything. You take only water and you sleep. So your fasting window starts from here. That is in a particular day, or even you can practice it daily if it is possible. So 8 p.m. you start only drinking water, you sleep. And incidentally, they also suggest that you sleep by 9 p.m., not at 12 or at 1 o'clock in the night, midnight. So by 9 or 10 p.m. you start sleeping. And next day morning you wake up, no milk, no sugar, only water, till 12 noon. Exactly at 12 noon, you can start eating. You can start eating all that is rich in protein, all that is rich in fiber. I have put everything here, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, everything I have put. but ensure that you don't eat like uh, a lion which has immediately caught a prey. I think we would have seen it in the Discovery Channel and other National Geography channels. The moment it catches, it will start eating like anything. Don't do it that way. Do it in a slow and steady, what do you call it, steady process. The size of your stomach, generally, if you ask a physician, will say that I'm telling you the stomach, not the belly. The size of the stomach is something like you keep both your hands together and keep some space. That is what is your size of your stomach. So if you want to eat, it is only this much. But what do? We order a plate of biryani or anything, barota or whatever, all those fast food items, and then we start enjoying it. Imagine what the stomach will happen. So you need to add water in between. You need to give rest in between, and eating window is only from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. After that, you have to stop. And they found out that this works very good on all aspects, particularly for diabetes, for hypertension, for what obesity, whatever you tell, obesity, stress management, everything this works. And they found that this is the best way to live. And this is what our ancestors also told. Ekadasha Viradam, 11th day of full moon, 11th day of new moon, fast the whole day. Next day you start Duvadeshi, you start eating. Duvadeshi, you start eating, you should first have amla because your digestive system, that is how they generally say. And you should have all the taste. If you go for during the month of Margali, in the December month, when the Vaikunta Ekadashi comes, the next day there are a lot of places where they give you Dvadasha food. When you go there, you will find lots of dishes, all little, 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 little. Not that your plate is full, your plantain leaf is full of food. No, little, 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 and they ensure that all the tastes are there: sweet, sour, bitterness, everything is there. Food is also served. Food is served in such a way that you have that kadamba kolambu. In Tamil, we call it as kadamba kolambu, wherein you add all the vegetables. It's a mixture of all vegetables. Whatever vegetables is available, everything is mixed and given to you so that you feel that whatever you fasted the previous day, the next day you're compensated. So, on a whole, generally the medical practitioners say that not too much fasting, not too much eating. That will keep your health to better. Moving on to the next one is the linguistics. Of course, one important factor which attracted me was this Anushakara project of Chinmaya Mission. I think you can Google it up. Even now, you can find this project. Let me explain you how this works. I think we all use Google Translate. We use for Tamil to English, English to Tamil, English to Hindi, or any other language. How does Google Translation work? You say good morning. The translation on the Tamil side, suppose I want to do from English to Tamil, the translation would be sometimes so awkward. It would have taken word by word and it would have done it. So that is not the way you should do, right? Translation, that is called transliteration. You directly take and you write it. That is translation. That is not translation. So this was one project by Chennai Mission in collaboration with International Institute of Information Technology in Hyderabad, and they named this project as Anusakara. What they found was Sanskrit as a grammar. Sanskrit grammar was defined or it was written by Panini. I will underline the word written. It means that it existed. The Panini took the efforts to write it and keep it so that we are able to read it today. So Panini's grammar was so structured that they started coding Panini language in the computer. So the idea was to have this as the engine. So you feed English, it will translate to Sanskrit. Then you say the same engine that contains the Panini grammar, you feed it in English, that will give you in Tamil. Multiple languages. But the engine in the center was to have it as Panini, and Anusakara was the name of the project. So we think that Panini is for Sanskrit, but not so. Panini is for other languages too. That was what was found out. The one other story that we all would have heard, I think probably all the down south people would have heard about it, but those listeners from the north would have not listened about it. Tirukkural, I think even our Prime Minister Modi ji occasionally quotes Tirukkural during his speeches. It's a couplet, just two lines. And this did not fall under the Sangam literature because Sangam literature was poems, and Thiruvalluvar wrote only couplets. So the any Tamil literature must be approved by the Sangam poets, but the Sangam poets told this is not a poem. Couplets are not poems. This doesn't fall under any of the categories, so we will not approve it. So Thiruvalluvar was a assertive person. He did not. He was a passive assertive person. So he did not want to emphasize and say, I've written this, I've done this, I've put so many efforts, kindly approve. No, okay, let me go on. So Avayar was walking through, she found that she heard that Thiruvalluvar went to Madurai, he had presented the Tirukkural and they rejected it. He told, no, you come along with me, let us go and meet the Pandya king, let us talk. So the first point that Avayar told was Anuvai Tholichu. There is a contradiction here. I will tell it later on. Anuvai Tholichu, Edukadal Katti Kurugattirichach Kural. That is what she had mentioned. Instead of Anuvai, there is a contradiction. Somebody say that it is Kadugai Tholichu. There is a contradiction. Let us not enter into that debate, but I'm just giving you the translation for the benefit of the North Indian listeners, which means that you pierce an atom and you pour all the 7 oceans into it. All the 7 oceans into it. I've given you the exact Google translation of what I've given up, so that you understand that Google Translator does a transliteration rather than a translation. So I think this slide basically makes you to understand the use of Anusakara project. Okay, so my perspective over here was, how did Avayar know that there was an atom? Of course, we read in our text on Niels Bohr model and other models, but when Avayar had mentioned, she has mentioned that take an atom, put a hole, put all the 7 oceans to it. My perspective of lateral thinking is, how did Avayar know about atoms? So it means that they had the knowledge of atoms, they had the knowledge of protons, electrons, neutrons, and other aspects of the atomic physics that we are studying today. I will add one more point over here, which is a philosophy that Vethathiri Maharishi usually says. He talks about divine particles, Irai Tugal. In Tamil, we call it as Irai Tugal. The English exact terminology is divine particle. He says that it is much smaller than the proton, electron, and neutron, and he leaves it to the scientists, mentioning that there is this particle, find it out and prove that whatever theory that I'm saying is true. And I think people are still working. There are a lot of work that is done on that. You can find, but not on the name of divine particle, still more smaller particles when compared to the electron, proton, and neutron in an atom. Of course, there is one theory that the part of India doesn't stop with the southern part of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, but we were a part of Sri Lanka. We had Kumarik Khandam is what the exact term that we use. Kumarik Khandam is today submerged in water, is a theory, but I look it as not a theory but as a real practice. I'm just sharing you the Google map of whatever is shown here. Whatever they have shown here, I'm just sharing you the same Google map. And if you just start looking at it as a logical perspective, we have something still today called as this British Indian Ocean Territory, and we still have an airport over there. You can zoom it after this session. I think somebody can go sit out and zoom. You will find an unused airport. That airport was particularly for the Britishers to come land here and then again come back here. That, and even they had even wanted to go to Singapore. So from UK they would travel here, stay for some time, and then they used to go. So it means that this land is still there. Whatever they are claiming it over here is still there. The submerged Tamil Nadu is what they tell, and of course there are some fictitious stories and films also available based on this, wherein they show that the Tamilians have traveled to Sumatra and Java islands, and still they are existing still as nomads and um, what you call tribal. And for people who live in Tamil Nadu and listening to me, I think I would say the new Ayrathil Urvan focuses on this, and this is how the film was taken up. Of course, we know that there's one more film in Tamil which talks about Ela Marivu, um, which talks about how Bodhidharma was a Pandyan king who was from Kanjipuram, and he had this opportunity to travel to China. So he went there and he established the Zen form of meditation, or the Shaolin temple, which we still have. Interestingly, before the film Ela Marivu in Tamil came, this was actually um, researched by one of my mentor during my PhD, Dr. John Samuel. He is from Chennai. He has an institute called Institute of Asian Studies. Uh, Even after the session, somebody can go and Google. You can find out Institute of Asian Studies. He's a one-man army. He has lots of friends all around the globe, and he's a passionate Tamilian. Interestingly, he wrote a lot of bills to the government for particularly for establishing uh, the Tamil chair at the various other universities. And he was the person who started researching on Bodhidharma, and he has written a book on Bodhidharma also. And he has done extensive research that how he started from Kanjipuram, how he traveled, what happened at China for him to establish Shaolin temple. All these things he has done an extensive research. And based on that research only and that book only, this film was taken up. Of course, it was so painful that his name was not included anywhere, but he never bothered about it. He still works for Tamil, and he finds out where all the roots of Tamil are available all over the globe. Of course, let me move on to the next one, which is the architectural marvel. And this is the Palmyra in Dubai, which is an architectural marvel of today's civil engineering. So they are trying to construct a city in the by by making the sea or the ocean as a platform for their construction. So this is really an architectural marvel, but let us look slightly behind and see what we have done. I think most of you would have heard of the story of Mahabharata, particularly the story of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, wherein Krishna, it is the story of Krishna, the story of Krishna. So he was born in Mathura, then brought up at the Iyer party, and then he travels to Dwarka, and he requests the sea king, Samudra Raja is what is mentioned, to receive back, so that Vishwakarma is the god who um, constructs. He is the god of creation. Even today, North Indians have this celebration of Vishwakarma Day. So he called Vishwakarma and he told to construct a city for him, which is Dwarka. And of course, at the end of Bhagavatam, due to some reasons, because of his son, because of his grandson, the there is a curse that the Dwarka um, should be uh, destroyed by the waters of the sea. And we have today a lot of work done by our Archaeological Society of India, ASI, that is what we call, that they have found a lot of large structures under the sea. which means that whatever the story is written is true. And incidentally, the point that I wanted to emphasize over here, what the Dubai engineers or the Dubai technocrats are doing was done by Krishna long back. And one more architectural marvel is the big temple here in Tanjavur, which hasn't, which has crossed many years. The 11th century AD is the year of construction, and it hasn't even tilted a bit. It was even not even tilted a bit. The if we go to Tanjavur, what I would add one point here. When we go to temple, just don't go straight to the temple, worship the deity, and come out. Look at the temple. Look at the surroundings. You go to Tanjavur, you look at the surroundings, you will not even find one hill over there. Now, where did Rajaraja Cholan get the stones for this? He should have brought it from somewhere. Let us not enter into the history. But let us look at the engineering perspective. How he would have transported from that place to Tanjavur. First point number one. Point number two, no advanced machinery, no bulldozer, no what you call this cutting machines and other things, just an axe and the hammer and the elephant and all the mathematics that he would have used for bringing up all this big temple. And still day it's an astonishing structure that stands up over there. And of course, we have other kings have worked apart from that also. I mean, surrounding it, they have worked, but it's still a standing. Let us move on to the festivals. I think these are, of course, this part of the lecture which I'm touching right now is a perspective from my mother and, of course, my own thought process which I learned over the years. We had this month of Adi, Ashada is what we call it in Sanskrit. Here in down south, we have this concept of celebrating Mariamman festival. Mariamman is a form of Parvati, goddess Parvati, and almost every city will have a Mariamman temple. And Mariamman temple is always located inside the city. Kaliamman temple is located outside the city. She is the protector of the city, uh, protecting from people who come from outside, Kali. Whereas Mari, she is inside the city, is a goddess who protects all those within the city. And we have festivals for it. And incidentally, this it falls between the month of July and August, which is a very rainy season. And this is a common talk that we do, no? Whenever it starts raining, we all get cough, cold. That's the first thing. What we if you go to our office, we ask, what is the problem? Cough and cold. Why? Change in weather. Simple answer, right? So there's an epidemic spread. We have seen pandemic. We also are looking into epidemic. And if you generally watch this, it is immediately after summer. So this is the reason. This is the season wherein we get this problem of chickenpox, smallpox, and all these things. And the best medicine for that is to take all the millet, particularly the ragi. That is the only medicine with small onion and with some turmeric and with pepper. So all these touch both medicine as well as the spiritual. You go to a Mariamman temple during Adi month, they'll give you only the podrich, ragi podrich. In Tamil, we call it as kamangul or the ragi kool, whatever. Kambu is the other millet that they generally prefer. So it is a mixture of spirituality as well as medicine and also for the time, for the particular time that is required. And of course, we are about to face all these festivals right now. We have the month of Kritika coming very soon. It is a cold season. It starts, that is the beginning of the cold season. We have this Deepavali also falling at that particular time, wherein we light a lot of lamps. And why do we light lamps? Not because that it is so dark, but any virus or any bacteria that you have, or the even Lighting more lamps gives a bit of warmthness in the house. And the most coldest season is the Margali month, in the month of December. And we have this habit, we had this habit, I will use the word, we had this habit of lighting lamps at our entrance. So we even today, you go to a remote village, they have this habit of lighting 2 or 3 lamps in the entrance of the door. A belief, a small belief, but spiritually speaking, and even a scientific perspective, it does not allow certain bacteria to enter. Small, you tell it as even a small effort is going to help you a lot. So that is how it looks. Of course, looking on the management perspective, today we have this text on corporate Chanakya written by Radhakrishnan Pillai. Of course, that is a very good text which gives you an insight of how Chanakya had Chanakya Niti. That is what is the exact terminology or caption. And of course, we also call it as Kautilya's Arthashastra. Even today, this is a testimony for how people, how the kings would have ruled the country when there was no finance manager and all these things. So this is one area where you can go and find it out. So this let us now move on to the other important aspect of the lecture today. This has been my uh, area of research also for many years. I think we all would have heard of the Mahabharata story. And at the end of the story, it is nothing but the war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. If you look at it as a story, I would say it is a story. But there are a lot of management perspectives that you can look at the story. Particularly on the war. Look at the total number of days the war took. Just 18 days. Today we are in a era where we are right now seeing two different wars. One is the Russia and the Ukraine war, and over here we have the Israel and the Hamas war. There is no timeline for the war, but they had a timeline of only 18 days. Right. The second point is the Kauravas. They had a larger size. Akshauni is the size of the army, whereas the Pandavas had a smaller size of 7. So, logically speaking, the Kauravas should have won, but it was only the Pandavas who won the war. How? Let us look at that. See, what interesting fact was that Kauravas, they did not have that 11 Akshauni as such. They tried to have partnerships with others, and it was purely run by Shakuni. I think you all know. Purely run by Shakuni. Shakuni was not a third person, but he was the maternal uncle of Kauravas and Pandavas. He was the brother of Gandhara. Gandhara was the queen of the king of Gandharva. Where is Gandharva? Gandharva is today's Afghanistan. That's all. Very simple. So Afghanistan was in drought even in those days. Now also it's a desert area. So Shakuni had no option. He came and stayed with what you call Dhritarashtra. So it was drought there. He did not have any time. He had no option to rule. He came here, and he was very jealous that this land is so beautiful with lot of wealth, and that is why he started giving lot of bad ideas to Kauravas, and of course they fell to that bad idea. And Pandavas, they had no wealth. Interesting, they had no wealth, but they had this one good idea that they wanted to rule the kingdom. That is the only best idea that they had. Kauravas had they wanted to snatch away the power from Pandava. Okay? And when you look at the leadership, Kaurava followed the 11 Akshaunis, or the 11 parts of the entire warfare. should be managed by only one person. And I would say it was a bad day for Kauravas. They had different leaders. Initially, it was one person, then came the other person. For you to understand, initially, say it was what you call Karna, then came Bhishma, Karna died, Bhishma came, then Bhishma died, then the other person came. They had different leadership, and when you have different leadership, what will happen? The thought process will differ. But when you look at Pandavas, they had this concept of distributed leadership. So one man for one Akshavini. So they had eight men. And of course, Drishtadyumna was the commander of chief. And Arjuna, of course, is supreme commander. It doesn't mean that whatever the supreme commander told, everybody should follow. Each one had their own role. So this gave the concept of sharing your responsibility. Today, when we are organizing this webinar, I found there was a distribution of responsibility. One person was responsible for forming the web link, one person was responsible for the registration, one person was responsible for attending the queries, one person was responsible for addressing the gathering, giving the introduction and addressing what I am supposed to. So when you share your responsibility, your leadership is more powerful. And the team spirit, Kauravas, they had no team spirit. They had only one idea, that the Pandavas should be defeated. Or in other words, the Pandavas should not be there. And all those who joined the Kauravas, they had their own, goal. Or they had their own idea of defeating the Pandavas. But that did not work. The Pandavas, they were all having only one goal, one idea, that they wanted to capture the kingdom. That's all. So when you work together as a team, it gives you better decisions and better results. But Kauravas, they did not have. Karna had only one thought process, that he wanted to kill Arjuna. Even in the battlefield, when you watch the entire Mahabharata war, when Bhima comes and fights with Karna, he will not fight. He would simply say, my target is only Arjuna. I don't want Karna to Bhima to come into picture. He never ever hits Dharma. So his only target was Arjuna, which is not the goal of Kaurava. So this team spirit was missing in Kauravas, but Pandavas had that. And Kauravas, they, of course, as I told you, they were, each one had one goal, one idea and motive. But Pandavas had a very common goal and common motive. Kauravas having different goal. Example is, Karna wanted to kill only Arjuna. Duryodhana wanted to kill only Bhima. So each one had a different goal, but Pandavas had a common goal. They only one and only goal was to get the kingdom back from Kaurava. And of course, all the warriors who were in Pandava side were all committed. I think we all would have heard of the story of the son of Arjuna, who fought very bravely during the war, despite he not having any weapons. I think you all know that story. And of course, the entire story runs behind Krishna, the right manager, who trickily does I would use that word, trickily does lot of positive points for the Pandavas. Because the head, the among the Pandavas, the most eldest one was Yudhishthira, but he always was very calculative in taking risks. He never took big risks. He was very, very calculative, and that is why they were able to win the war. Let me come to the most important point. Even before this war started, the most important text in the Sanatana Dharma culture is the Bhagavad Gita. If you ask which is the holy text in the Hindu religion, everybody will frankly say it is Bhagavad Gita. You just imagine, there are about, I think, 13 to 14, 18 cantos or 18 cantons, that is what they tell. And if you only recite that Bhagavad Gita without looking at the meaning, just only the recitation, it will hardly take you, I think, some 10 to 15 hours. Normally, I'm telling you, normally. And um, uh, this has been recited by Krishna to a person who is full of stress. Arjuna was in full stress. He looked either side of the army. He told, my grandfather is standing, my guru is standing. This side I have my beloved brother. How will I war? I will not do the war. He is in full stress. He drops his bow and arrows. He says, I am going back home. You kill me or I'll go back. And Krishna starts reciting this Bhagavad Gita in such a way that Arjuna listens to him. Even me being a teacher, I go and deliver lectures in my class. 45 minutes to 50 minutes is my session, and I know that few of the students are not listening to me. So Krishna had good convincing skills, motivating skills. On the other hand, Arjuna was also having good listening skills. But finally, he got motivated, and the 18-day war took place. This slide particularly talks about the chakras that we have. Incidentally, all the chakras are location points where we have this adrenal gland. In Tamil, we call it as Nanamilla Sorapical. And they play a very, very vital role in stress management. And if you take a course on stress management, you will find that this adrenal glands are interlinked. There's no any wire or nerve that flows from one adrenal gland to the other adrenal gland, but all these are interlinked. And all the practices that we do in our day-to-day life are all interlinked with this chakra. Suppose we have this habit, or most of us in India have this habit. I think myself, I have this habit of having this basma or the vibhuti, which we call on the forehead. I think our secretary, Mr. Mohan sir, has the habit of having this tilak on his forehead. Why do we have it? Just because it is so fascinating. It looks and I would say it's our culture that you wear it wherever you go. Nothing wrong. I had traveled to different places of the world, and I always wear it. People see at me in a different angle, but I don't take it in a different angle. I accept it. Even if I don't have this option of having the basma or the vibhuti fully, I at least have the tilak, that round tilak in the center. Nothing wrong. If coat and suit is of the Westerners, dhoti is our, nothing wrong. We can have it. There is a reason for why we wear a dhoti in our culture. So let me talk only about this. What I'm trying to focus on. If you look out down here, this is what we call it as a Ashtanga Namaskar. We fall, the hands, head, the feet, everything falls on the ground, and this is one way of activating all your chakras with the help of the earth. And you look at Subramani Bharati, he has this tilak on the head, which is particularly to activate your Agnya chakra. You fall at somebody's feet, the main thing that they do is they either touch your hand or your forehead, which is your Sahasrara chakra, which they try to activate. So whatever practice, traditional practice we have, it's all related to some way or the other to activate our chakras or activate our adrenal gland, or to keep it at a normal position which is required. Now, coming on to the last few slides, I will be trying to address the questions which had been given during the registration by various listeners, and I will also try to address why this IKS came into picture. Of course, I draw a lot of inspiration from Dr. Mahadevan, who is a professor from IIM Bangalore, and he is the man behind all this IKS. And if you ask me any text with reference to IKS, Indian Knowledge System, I will blindly say that is the only book written by Dr. Mahadevan, and he has done an extensive work. Of course, he has done an extensive work, and he understands how it should be done also. Before we start, why IKS, I would try to quote two things. One is the beggar story. It's a very simple story. I will try to quickly narrate it. There was a beggar and there was a sannyasi. Sannyasi is a saint. Sannyasi was coming out of a temple. This beggar was sitting outside. This beggar was sitting on a wooden box. Sannyasi came and this beggar begged. As usually he begged, give me something, give some alms. The sannyasi smiled and told, both of us are in the same category because any sannyasi needs to get Diksha Vandanam. He needs to beg. And there are rules and regulations. See, when we have a fight at our house, we immediately say, okay, let me go to sannyasa. It's very difficult. You cannot do it that way because uh, you cannot beg more than 5 houses a day. And incidentally, in those 5 houses, they say no bhiksha for you. You cannot eat the whole day. That's not finished. So there are a lot of restrictions. And this sannyasi, he told, even I am of the same category. So both of us are same, except that I am going inside the temple. You are sitting outside the temple. You can also go inside the temple, but even then you are sitting outside the temple. Just have one simple advice for you. He is telling to the beggar. The saint is telling to the beggar. I have simple advice for you. Why don't you open the box that you are sitting on? The beggar told, see, I am a hereditary beggar. What do you mean the hereditary beggar? My great grandfather was a beggar. My father was a beggar. I am a beggar. I have my son who is begging in the other street. So I'm an hereditary beggar. How can I? And my great grandfather was sitting on that same box which I am sitting. How can I open? I cannot open. And then he tells, okay, think, and then you come to a conclusion whether you want to open. But this beggar, he was something was radicaling him in his heart. The saint told something we cannot do. Okay, after 2 days, he says, let me open it and see what has happened. So he opens that box and he finds lot of jewels, gold, jewels, diamonds, all precious stones. He was astonished. Hereditary beggar, and he was astonished. So that is how we are in IKS. We know what is there, but we have not tapped it. So this IKS is something we need to tap with a lateral thinking. You need to think it in a different way. Now, how did we become a beggar? That is because of Maclay's address. I think this ran in social media long back. I think we have seen it many times. Maclay, let us not enter into the debate as why he did what he did. That is not our point of discussion. But that is what broke our education system. That is what made us to think in a different way. Now let us do a lateral thinking and let us start looking at what is actually needs to be done to save our Indian knowledge system. And that is why in NEP 2020 we have a separate department called as Indian knowledge system, which works for bringing out all these things. And how do you do it? It all started in 2000 when somebody in US started patenting turmeric-based technology for cancer treatment. All people got alarmed. Hey, this is our technology. How did you take it over there? So they started up this immediately. They started up this traditional digital knowledge library, which will have this Ayurvedic and Siddha formulations, all these things. They have a repository. NIC formed a repository, and you can pour in all those content over there. They vet it, they check whether it is true, and then they post it so that we can claim that this is all our existing technology. Parallelly, in 2000, they started this IKS under the eminent leadership of Mahadevan. They started what they call workshops, brainstorming sessions to identify where and all there is IKS available. And that is how it started. And it is not that you have a hard and steady path rule to follow IKS. You can find some of the discussions that we had today are my own understandings of how it would have happened. And of course, how to approach this IKS, I think it was the question of R. Usharani, the assistant professor at engineering college. I would alarm you, madam, over here that the exact word used by Dr. Mahadevan is this is an upstream swimming. This is not an easy task. See, we have been cultured in this education system for about 20-25 years in our lifetime. and we need to look at this in a different perspective. So that will take a bit time. And the target, what Dr. Mahadevan also fixes, is around 15 years. So probably our children will have an opportunity to talk much better than what we are talking today. And we are experts in our own. Take my case, I'm an expert. I will not say I'm an expert, but I have my own knowledge, database, image processing, electronics, and other areas. So now what I need to do is I need to understand what is our case, and I need to touch which script talks about this and learning from properly from gurus. Don't just look at this Westerner translation, because they do a lot of blunders. They add their own thinking process, which will deviate us from our IKs. See, they don't get frightened about gurus, because there are a lot of gurus who teach these scripts even for a non-monetary benefit basis. The only Guru Dakshina some of the gurus will ask is, at the end of the course, they will say, spread this news to at least next few more people, so that this race continues. They don't ask money. I'm talking about few gurus, but some of them ask for money also. But nothing wrong in spending out some money and learning new text. So I'm almost moving to the last part of my session. Uh, of course, I personally feel that these two people, I mean, gurus, were they had no reference, but they started pouring out a lot of knowledge. Because autobiography of Yogi, today there is a lot of halla going on for this, because our South Indian actor is uh, a follower of Paramasivam Yogananda ji. And my inspiration towards yoga, the thought process of mind and other things, was from Vedatri Maharishi, who is hardly third standard, but he has done a lot of work. And of course, if you really want to understand about Indian knowledge system, the only text that I would say, the proper text, not the only text, but the proper text would be by Dr. Mahadevan. I owe him a lot, and we have started working with him to work on Bhagavad Gita for management. And there was one more question on autonomous vehicles by Sri K. Tangarasu. I would refer to the autonomous vehicle of Ravana. It is called as Pushpaka Vimana. And if you read Ramayana, it says that Ravana sits in that vehicle and he only thinks. Even we do not have that technology as of now. He thinks, I need to go to this place. That's all. And the vehicle will start moving. And it is claimed that after Ravana, Rama used to travel from Lanka to Ayodhya, because he had very short time. So he sat. An interesting fact was, he carried the entire monkey, what do you call that? And the monkey, the Vanarapadai, that is the exact Tamil term that we use.
Monkey Sena.
Monkey Sena, exactly, sir. You're right. Monkey Sena, Vanarapadai is the exact Tamil term. So he carried that in. So you imagine the capacity of that Vimana that he would have used.
Airbus 380.
Sir? Yes, sir?
Airbus 380.
Yeah. Yeah. And one last question that was asked was by Dr. C. Prabha, on Associate Professor and Head on food preservation. Madam, I would say Indians were well known for food preservation. I think we have to go back to our villages and talk to our grannies. They will tell you how to dry, how to pickle. Pickle is nothing but putting salt and adding some vinegar. Of course, today we add vinegar, but they did not add vinegar previously. They add only common salt, and that to the sea salt. And of course, the next process is the fermenting the rice, old rice pottery, English term. In Tamil, it is palayasoru. You go to a diabetologist or to any doctor, the first best medicine he will say is, காலையில் எந்திரிச்ச have palayasoru. Morning, you get up in the morning, have fermented rice porridge with small onion, which is the best medicine. And other food preservation techniques is the garlic and tomato chutney that we do in our home. Even without keeping in the fridge, the more oil you add and the more you cook it on the fire, it will stay for even more than a month. And the pickling method, it's pickling methods I've admired from Gujarati. They do a lot of pickling because I have a lot of Gujarati friends who do a lot of pickling. If they get mangoes, they put mango pickles. Chilies, they get chili pickles. Whatever vegetable they get, they immediately pickle it. So food preservation is one technology which we need to learn from our ancestors and particularly from our grannies. Vattal, all the vattals that we use. Vattal is dried form of vegetables, dried rice, um, uh, pottery. All these are food preservation techniques which are available in our ancient technology. I think I'm stopping with this, uh, and I'm awaiting for questions. I understand that questions would have been posted up, and I'm awaiting for questions to be answered. Let me go through the questions possibly.
Sir, I think you have given then and there, you have added the answers, I think, from the question posted during the registration.
Okay.
Except only one question which is being posted by Mr. Tangarasu, Senior Technical Officer. He talks about our Indian knowledge system are still far away from developed countries like USA, UK, Japan, Korea, etc. For example, a car on the road without human interaction. What is your opinion on this direction?
Ma'am, I will once again.
Ravana, you know, but
Exactly.
Everybody is there, but without any technical tools, he will by voice translation, right? As you said.
Yes.
So
it's not voice translation also. When you actually read Ramayana, it mentions that Ravana used to climb the Vimana and he only sings. He doesn't even articulate. He only sings.
Now talking about humanless, shipping and humanless cars, right? It's
Yes.
all automated, fully automated.
Fully automated.
No, it is human-computer interface like this. You know what
exactly.
we are doing. Now we are Elon Musk is doing, trying to do that human-computer interface, human brain interface. Sorry, human brain interface.
Oh, beautiful. Sir, one Krishna Manasa, he or she is very, very enthusiastic participant. She kept on, going parallel with your talk. Lot of things she was trying to deliver here, but only two questions I'll try to take from her excerpts. Is really chakras works if you use during meditation, especially for a longer time? Is it good?
Yes.
Healing chakras.
Yes, it's really healing chakras works if we do meditation. Okay, let me answer this question on an stress management perspective. See, I'm not a medical practitioner. Once again, it's a adrenal cycle that generally happens. How does anger get stimulated? When somebody talks about the self-esteem of a person, immediately it goes to the hypothalamus. From the hypothalamus, it goes to the amygdala, and then from the amygdala, there is a secretion called cortex. This cortex basically immediately goes to the adrenaline. Adrenaline is located in the kidney, just on top of the kidney, and we immediately get hypoglycemia. Like our hands start shivering, our eyes get red. The moment we get anger. So, answering to the question, if we practice this chakra meditation, what people are nowadays trying out, chakras are basically located at all these locations. The pituitary gland, you have one chakra at the adrenal gland, one at the thymus, one at the top of your sahasrara, and a few down in the belly. So naturally, they will heal you. When you don't have stress, then naturally you will not have any problem. You will not have any cardiac problem. You naturally get healed up. That is the simple logic, but Westerners will not accept it unless otherwise they have a scientific proof. But truly speaking, these are all possible.
Okay. The next question he has asked us. Gomata has 33 crores of deities and we have many traditional books and ancient scripts on end products like milk, ghee, everything. But how come other countries got patents for cows on many things?
That is
Interesting question,
again very
actually.
anyway. To answer it very straightforward, I think the government was reluctant at that time, but in the year 2000 they all got worried because uh, once they started touching the turmeric, people started alarm and then
Yes.
started working at it. So it's a matter of government. We cannot involve all these things into it. But again, once again, I would like to add one more point. What she has mentioned on milk, ghee, and everything. Please do remember, it is all the milk and ghee that has been mentioned from the desi cows and not from the Jersey cows which we are right now using. So it's very important that we always look at the desi cows. But in Ayurveda, when it is mentioned, it is clearly mentioned from the cow's ghee, and it is only the desi cow that they would have used, not the Jersey that is available today. All the Delhi and other versions that we have.
Okay, that's all, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so
I
much,
hope
sir.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope I have given an insight. Uh,
Really, sir.
Yes, Mythili ma'am,
Formal,
give us the vote of thanks, sir.
yeah,
sure.
formal vote of thanks I would like to present. This Dr. Paramasivam is, I'm not the right person to appreciate you because of the way you covered that entire life necessities from that our ancient time and matching that with our latest technology. It's really amazing, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable time spending with that, consolidating everything to the core. It is, I wish it should reach all our society, all our people, all that, especially the younger generation, so that everything can be reasoned it out. It's really amazing technology in ancient era, right from that Meghadut, however, cloud computing. Here, I remember in my childhood days when we are using the dialing phone, I heard, see, in future we can see the person who is talking. It may come. I said, how is it possible? It may not be possible. Like it is become possible. It removes the distance throughout the world by video conferencing, video call, and likewise knowledge sharing, which can reach entire world. It's really amazing, sir, that Vedic Max, how this Kudupinar constructed rust free in that era itself. That it's really, as you said, thought evoking at how without all this technology, but they should document it this and that era itself. That is a major deficiency in our system. So they didn't documented everything. So when we say that sastras and sampradayam, they are thinking it is mad. Now you have consolidated, matching that with the technology and the tradition. It's really amazing, sir. Really amazing. That plastic surgery, you gave the example, linguistic translation, architecture, festivals, autonomous vehicle Ramayanas, the traditional practice which younger generation should know that significance, because if it reaches, because they believe on Google, so this Google should recommend all these things for them the way it should be. Really, really, thank you so much for taking more effort to present, consolidate all these things for our sake. I know many people will be make use of this session in the positive way. Thank you so much. I also thanks our joint organization IEEE CS and ICM. My sincere thanks
Sir,
to
good evening,
the
sir.
partner.
So I'm Dr. Prabha from Madras.
Thought-evoking questions and the patient answer and from Dr. Paramasivam. As usual, our many thanks to Mr. Mohan sir. It's really thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Really, we have to thank you so much. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank
My
you. Thank you.
personal,
Yeah, we
my
wish you
personal,
all the best and success towards your future ventures in this direction, sir, in IKS.
sure, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am, in this forum, I would also like to add one more point. If there is somebody who is really interested to collaborate and work with us, particularly in this area, because this is a multifaceted area. I
exactly.
cannot work in all the areas. So if somebody is interested, we can work together. That is how Dr. Mahadevan had worked. So I'm ready and open to work in this area, and I'm trying to explore all possible areas. My personal thanks to HR Mohan sir for identifying me and giving me this forum. I know this is a very, very prestigious forum, and it was as I posted once in LinkedIn, it was my passion to deliver a lecture in this forum. So my personal thanks to every organizer. It was very meticulously planned. The way it was planned, the way everything was done was meticulously done. I know it's out of passion that the team is working, but my special appreciations and my special thanks for inviting me. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Paramasivam. So we look forward working together. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Good night. Okay. Where are the madam?
Fine, sir. You can